Thomas Eluh to head re-established Independent Commission Against Corruption Office. Asaro locals worried about Mudmen Copycats. And Police Internal Investigations Unit responds to brutality claims.
This is the National EMTV News with Mary Bartulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Wednesday's news. Community leaders in Commemorative village in Asaro, Eastern Highlands, are frustrated of copycat artists of the famous Asaro Mudmen culture. Leaders say many groups have abused the Mudmen cultural heritage with representations in the country and also on the world stage. The Asaro people want Parliament to enact laws to protect the Mudmen culture.
The Asaro Madmen culture is an iconic figure for Papua New Guinea. Its cultural heritage has great significance to its people in Asaro. In a recent visit by Tourism Arts and Culture Minister and the Tourism Promotion Authority, locals in Communive want laws to protect their culture and stop copycats of the Madmen heritage.
Today you stop Logan, one time you stop law government. Carry one side of NSC, come up him loan, strong him that's land. All the something must that's la line that's solo here or community yet, all must go perform. Now but you strong him, that's la culture blow you mean tourism must savannah, you must move inside the way, bring him planet touristic come here that's all.
Tourism Minister Emil Tamur spoke highly of the potential tourism and agriculture sectors can provide for people in communities. However, responding to the Madmen heritage, Minister Tamura showed the locals that authorities will work together to put proper laws for a submission for Parliament to consider.
We plan to work long and MCO will stop by work by talking more naraplak agency and ministry, National Culture Commission, National Museum, Arts and Gallery, all museums and stop long and all by work bung one time. Then we work him law protect him all kind something or some MCO stop there.
TPA Chief Executive Jerry Agus supported the call to protect copyrights of the Madmen identity. He says the Asaro Madmen is one of the leading attractive tourism products in Papua New Guinea.
And this is something you can look at some people, you can see money area up through agriculture and tourism. All that something you need him 7 man or you need him money got degree or you need him some like a specialist man lo come help him. Tourism na come up Madmen na put in performance easy way.
It's a similar story for many other iconic cultural heritage of the country. While some have been sacred, some have lost their value in public eye, something the tourism sector and its responsible government agency are also concerned about. Jack Lopave Jr., National EMTV News.
The National Executive Council has appointed former police detective Thomas Eluh to be the chairman of the Interim Independent Commission Against Corruption Office. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said Mr. Eluh's appointment is upon merit and sound judgment, so ICAC's role is independent and functions effectively. This will see all relevant files and assets of the former investigation task force team be transferred to the ICAC office. Immediate investigation cases include PNG SDP's Cloudy Bay, National Agriculture Development Plan, Community College Project and other matters as directed by the NEC. Mr. Eluh will be chair for a period of 12 months. The Police Internal Investigation Unit has been alerted on the police brutality incident that resulted in a young boy being run over. In response to MTV's news story on the incident, IIU Director Robert Ali says the community at Mautana must lay a complaint and follow it through with the IIU. This will help its officers to investigate and charge those alleged to have been involved. The confrontation with police occurred 2 Sundays ago and resulted in at least 15 people being badly injured.
The initial confrontation began from an argument over a piece of land located behind Mautana, the land that was allocated for a housing scheme for the police force. On September 9th, a group of police officers in civilian clothes came to Mautana to survey the land.
Report them, community, writing one something incident come from. They want to come now, say, put him so that people like Karim Golo. Okay. Police commissioner, by Karim Golo, Metsuf, Okay, commanders, all station one police station by like go give him present him so. Mibla put him mosem, Mibla invite media lo come na, you bla by. Kiss him tisla, Karim gona, you bla by light him so that now community Mibla sab lo mosem. Suppose before Mibla sab pored lo, Mibla old man, ordinary man, Mibla sab pored lo rascal. Mibla sab pored lo rascal lam, rascal Mibla sab pored no go through. Now community Mibla sab, Mibla no pored lo rascal now. Mibla pored lo policeman. What is this?
An argument broke out when proper documents were not presented, and locals retaliated when they claimed they saw the police officer who shot one of them take cover inside another vehicle.
You know that hodan our police move on silakan illegal walk one mastret. Only kana bagram plan man meri loya. Now all police masida mechu mas look sabalon sila. Aste sila police same time only come back long only given 19,000 demand. Jila 19,000 demand long emplo make one is straight. Jila 19,000 demand ba golo usaid. By car glass of 19,000 demand mibla confused lawyer. Or jila same police only come back in and give 19,000 demand long all community lawyer. Only come one state gun, only come one state car, only come one state uniform. Only come only seki man long ya or you running man number leana. Now mibla stawan and people for it straight.
During the confrontation, a little boy was run over by a vehicle, allegedly driven by the police officers. While others were left with serious wounds and bruises. The police hierarchy is aware of this incident, and this is the IIU director's response.
On the EMTV news yesterday, and I'm also concerned about the police action, yes, just as much as the public are. And I think probably my commissioner was trying to establish contact with me to alert me on this matter. But I think probably what should happen is that first and foremost they need to register a complaint. If that has been registered, then good, they can progress the matters. And it has come to our attention. But what they need to do is formalize it in the form of probably a complaint form and bring it to our attention. And once when that is done, we can try to initiate the action.
A formal complaint has been registered at the Guerrero police station. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Two women have raised concerns on the kind of language policemen are using in the conduct of their duties. This includes verbal abuses, which are sexual in nature, and at most times both threatening and intimidating.
These concerns come following two separate cases of police brutality which occurred in Port Moresby in the last 2 weeks. In the first incident, Mautana resident Maria Kaupa told MTV News how policemen threatened to sexually abuse women in a community during a confrontation 2 weeks ago.
All come on top of the mountain, now go inside. Some houses tell the backside, or mama still live inside, I'll talk. You better come outside, but I'm not coming inside now. Most all policemen and this kind talk and come. Now all pull him all come outside, broken head blow mama, we all already picking in a stop. Shoot him all pig inside the bunnies. Carry him all lion, go shoot him pig inside the bunnies.
In the second, Michelle Turi, a woman who witnessed what she says were drunken policemen badly assaulting her husband at the Waigani police station, speaks of how she was told to stop her pleading. This morning, Internal Investigation Unit Director Robert Ali said such behaviors are uncalled for and are not part of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary's standing orders. Ali says such actions can lead to disciplinary charges and is urging the public, especially women, to report such cases to the Directorate.
Yeah, I think probably that's really uncalled for. To make such a sarcastic statement is really uncalled for. Police, we're not authorized to go ahead and try to go to the extreme to abuse even ladies to make sarcastic comments on them. That's too extreme, and I think probably it's good for us to look at these issues, and if there are policemen involved in this one, identify them, bring the matters over, and we can have them disciplined.
Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The two charges laid against private investigator Turi Kurwa following his assault by what he claims were drunken policemen were dropped yesterday. Mr. Kurwa, a former police officer, after speaking with police prosecution, was told that he was charged under the Motor Traffic Act, an act that does not exist. Kurwa had been charged with 2 counts of driving under the influence of liquor and resisting police arrest.
Kurwa is nursing a black eye and other injuries to his body. In an earlier interview, he explained moments leading up to the ordeal.
You're talking about this now, approaching 11 o'clock now. They dragged me to the question room or the radio room, and that was when the beating became so severe that I got all these punches. And I could not, take it anymore. That's when I got up and started to punch back and to fight back to come out because it was so. And my wife is standing outside witnessing everything happening by a drunken policeman.
Following the beatings, Kurwa was formally charged and released on bail 24 hours after. He was initially taken to Aigani police station.
And I am so concerned that I was nearly killed when I was brutally attacked. And these are done by drunk policemen. Just drinking, taking alcohol right into the police station, drinking while they are bashing me up.
Yesterday, when following up on his court hearing, he was told the charges against him would be dropped.
Informed that my 2 charges of DUI and resisting police arrest was defective, the information was defective. And outdated provision in the Motor Traffic Act was used to charge me. Not only that, the resisting arrest charge, the information also was defective. So the prosecutor wasn't able to present those information in court, and they considered that charges to be defective. So.
Kurwa is a former police officer. As an investigator himself, he now plans to have those police officers who he has identified disciplined. He has obtained a medical report with supporting documents to present to the police hierarchy.
I'll make sure those policemen who actually assaulted me or robbed me will be brought to justice, and they will face the consequences of their actions of what they have done to me.
To have those involved dealt with. Thakla Gunga, National MTV News.
The Leh District Court today adjourned the trial of 4 Chinese men who entered the country illegally to Friday. The men were caught in Leh for breaching immigration laws. A translator will be available during the trial because the 4 men could not speak neither English nor talk Pisin. These men originate from Fujian province in China. They were employed with the Sani Limited Company, a Chinese-owned factory in Leh that produces lipo juice and purified water. In July, the Leh police, through the assistance of PNG Immigration, arrested these men on 4 separate charges for illegally entering the country. They were charged for entry into the country without valid permit or visas, false information on their entry permit, and were in possession of an entry permit without lawful authority. The trial was adjourned to Friday. The men were released on bail at 700 kina each 3 weeks ago after being remanded at Buimo for 2 nights. You're with Wednesday's news. Still ahead, stories from East New Britain, the agro potential of the Sepik region, and the Gulf Kavanaugh calling for collective buy-in to development growth. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to National MTV News. Business houses in East New Britain Province are putting together a petition to demand the East New Britain Provincial Government relocate the multi-million kina sewerage project built between Kokopo and Tokua. President of East New Britain Chamber of Commerce David Stein says the project lacked proper environmental assessment with high environmental impacts. Business houses have since shown their support by signing a petition demanding the national government and the East New Britain Provincial Government to relocate the project site. The petition, if successful, will force the delay to its launching, scheduled to be officiated at by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, as well as delegates from the Chinese Embassy next month. Australian High Commissioner Bruce Davis visited several project sites in West and East New Britain provinces recently. The High Commissioner was joined by West New Britain Governor Sasindran Mutuvel and Thalassia MP Francis Maneke. Whilst in Talasia, the group also visited Mama's Foundation Mary Safe House, the Kimbe General Hospital, the Marine Conservation Center and remote health clinics at Valoka and Malalia. The High Commissioner visited one of 4 community health posts in Baya. The High Commissioner then travelled to East New Britain on Independence Day, September the 16th. Agriculture projects in East and West Sepik have a huge potential to contribute to the growth of the country's economy. Speaking at a recent event in USChina, Sepik Governor Alan Bird said as the government is pushing to diversify the economy, agriculture remains its backbone, and it's time the Sepik region gets the support it needs to start major projects.
In the last 5 years, the Sepik region has signed for major agriculture projects to be developed. A significant one is the 4.2 million hectare Sepik Plains project, which is also a special economic zone. Governor Alan Bird says this plus many small-scale agriculture projects have huge potential to contribute to the country's economy. However, it needs the full support of the government.
You like sensitive country, you like creating work blow young man marry inside this country. Mibla people belong Sepik East and West one time. Mibla like talk Sabelu or some Sepik Plains and waiting you understand.
The governor says the province has taken steps to bring in more investors, with local landowners also willing to work with the national government.
Prime Minister Philippines government he come na check him Sepik Plains. Time only come check him me bung him all Papa Ground. Papa Ground is ready. Philippines government is ready. Prime Minister mibla wait lo talk Sabelu you.
National Planning Minister Richard Maru, who has been in the forefront of this project, says the Sepik region can be an economic powerhouse if all political leaders in both East and West Sepik work together.
Let's humble ourselves, work with the Prime Minister, work with the government. Let them all project come here, me cooperate. Sabatim governor, sabatim peace, you me hold him hand, or some governor talk, and let's get to work in these 5 years.
With the country generating 10 billion kina a year in revenue with high debt payments, the economy is still small and struggling. However, the Prime Minister says his government is committed to see it improve, and developing the agriculture sector is one solution.
Awesome na government blo ini prioritize the development of Sepik Plains. Last week tasol mi bla approving equity contribution blo government. Iko inside lo ini developing poultry, cocoa, na grain inside one time Israeli company inside lo Sepik Plains. This plan is start lo development blo the Sepik Plains. Na beyond by me expanding this like all narbla produce some oil palm no narbla way and by lifting up some income blow man very blame.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
Landowners in Gulf Province have been urged to work together with the provincial government for development. Governor Chris Haiveta says he is committed to involving the sons and daughters of the province for development and needs the cooperation of landowners. Part of his vision is to improve infrastructure, to encourage public servants and private sector alike to move into towns like Malalawa, Kikori, Kerma and other LLG stations.
During his visit to the Gulf Province over the Independence weekend, Governor Chris Haiveta admitted that the province still lacks basic infrastructure services, with law and order enforcement being inactive due to population and economic growth. However, he said the future is bright for this province with promising petroleum discoveries. Gulf Province has abundant renewable and non-renewable natural resources both on land and in the seas, and the governor is confident that with the right leadership, these resources will be utilized well. He said some of his areas of priority as governor are education, health, agriculture, and LLG reforms.
Parapo and those villages, the new settlements at the highway will have a ward of its own, of their own. Uto and Papala have been moved into the new Malalawa Eben area. So they've got their own wards, but they will now be part of Malalawa Eben as we attempt to grow Malalawa into the district headquarters for Kerma that it should be.
The governor said the province had the largest potential for hydropower in the country, with rivers like the Purari and Tawe, which had the capacity to generate over 3,000 and 120 to 130 megawatts respectively. He said the Lakekamu River also had potential to beat up the province and the country's need for power.
So the plans I want to talk about for you, which I spoke about during elections and I want to remind you, is a water supply for both villages. And we begin that next year. There is technology now. As we put services down, we want you to give your land freely and willingly, because if you don't give the land, services will never come to you.
Governor Haibeta said with all these goals and visions for the province, he needs the support and cooperation from the people to deliver results. Charlene Airy, National EMTV News.
The United Church in Papua New Guinea yesterday launched the 50th anniversary commemorative stamps. It has shown a spotlight on the history of the church and grabbing the interest of Papua New Guineans and foreigners alike.
The United Church of Papua New Guinea has a rich history and one that is well documented. The London Missionary Society arrived in 1871, the Methodist missionaries from Australia arrived in 1875, and the United Church of Australia arrived later on. The three churches then united to form the United Church of Papua New Guinea. The United Church in PNG is celebrating 50 years this year since the union in 1968. And they still have the name and photos of the first United Church member to be baptized by the London Missionary Society. He is on the stamps in a recently launched stamp collection.
Arua Daira from Hanwabada village, or Metoreya, which we now call Hanwabada. In 1881, on the 5th of January, was one of the first persons to respond to the gospel message.
The church has grown from having missionaries landing on the shores of PNG to growing the church throughout the country.
After the union, because the church is now very big spread from Daru all the way to Melon Bay and to New Guinea Islands, and then all the way to the Highlands, and even as far as Bougainville and as far as Solomon Islands.
It is now one of the most organized indigenous churches in Papua New Guinea, with a set hierarchy that is still effective to this day.
The church was then broken up into 5 districts. In our church we call them regions. And each region is headed by a bishop. And then in each region, because the regions are big, then they are broken up into what we call circuits. And then under each circuit is a congregation. So it's a very big church, had to be organized that way. Now the head of the church is the moderator.
Fideli Sukina, National EMTV News.
The Telecom Foundation today donated 5 desktop computers to the adult literacy students at the Anglican Center in Port Moresby. The donation will help the students learn the basics of using computers. The foundation made a similar donation to Hope Worldwide recently when they gave laptops to their trainers.
Literacy is the foundation of knowledge in the modern world. And the adult literacy students at the Anglican Center in Port Moresby are privileged to have computers to diversify their reading and writing skills and to include the usage of computers. The Telecom Foundation donated 5 new desktop computers to the students today.
The items that we have donated are computers. These computers will also be something that I hope would be part of the program that you will venture into, Darwin and his team and the Anglican team. This will also give the opportunity to people like you to also learn about computers. In this day and age where technology is also coming up, and I know some of you are holding on to tablets and phones, and and your kids is like, you know, when they're using the phones, they're just like really fast. So why wouldn't we try to help people like you? And obviously I come.
Literacy is important and will help adults especially to cope with everyday life and to help improve their capacity to learn new things.
So no can you let things or some talk school you can school no. That is the foundation of all forms of education. Maintain this, na iblak simsla school, no can pilay. No can pilay. And foundation and building now.
The students were happy with the donation and the encouragement given by the Telecom Foundation program ambassador.
Perception that if I go to school, I'm going to be successful. No, education is just a medium to help establish yourself, but it's not. It's not the. It's not going to define whether you're going to be successful or not, because it starts with you. But you know, having the ability to read and write is very, very important. I left school, but because I knew how to read and write, I taught myself everything I needed to know, you know, to start my own company and to establish myself and to be the kind of person I am today.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV News.
You're watching Wednesday's news. We go for a break now. When we come back, we take a look at stories making headlines overseas. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, China has fired back at the US in an escalating trade war between the world's most powerful economies. It's slapping tariffs on more than $90 billion worth of American goods, this in response to Donald Trump's $300 billion sanctions. The conflict is set to get even worse, and that's bad for many companies in America, China, and the world.
This is how China has become rich over the last 4 decades, making everything from toys to circuit boards for the rest of the world. And one of its biggest customers, the United States. But now almost half of everything China makes and sells to the US will be covered under the latest tariffs. President Trump says this is his way of leveling the playing field.
We are the piggy bank to the world. We've been ripped off by China. We've been ripped off by everybody. I want to protect the American worker, the American farmer, the ranchers, the companies.
But American companies also manufacture products in China. And in a nod to their concerns, things like smartwatches and Bluetooth equipment have been left off Trump's tariff list. In return, China says it has no choice but to defend itself.
China has to retaliate against US measures to firmly defend our legitimate rights and interests and safeguard the global free trade order.
China's growing middle classes are a big market for American products. That's what's kept US businesses in China, and that's what they're worried about losing because of this trade war. And for China, it's the future at stake. It was moving away from the old model of growth into high-tech industries. But these trade tensions could hurt China's ability to get the technologies it needs. Ultimately, though, that would hurt America too.
Somebody has actually phrased this like it's like a husband and wife. You can quarrel, but you really cannot divorce because you have children, right? Your children is all your babies, all the multinationals in both countries, all the investment being there, settled there for decades.
When two giants clash, the rest of us are caught in the middle. The bigger damage this trade war could do is to the global economy and business confidence at a time when the world could do with more certainty, not less.
The sexual assault scandal against US President Trump's Supreme Court nominee continues to rock the White House. Brett Kavanaugh has denied the accusations he sexually assaulted a woman when they were both in their teens. Today, the president spoke out in support of Mr. Kavanaugh, saying, quote, "He does not deserve this."
Tonight, Christine Blasey Ford won't say whether she will appear on Capitol Hill Monday to testify about her allegation that Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh once tried to assault her. And President Trump is now expressing concern about the personal toll on Kavanaugh and his family.
I feel so badly for him that he's going through this, to be honest with you.
The president did not say Dr. Ford's name today, nor did he express any concerns about her or her serious allegations. But he has shown uncharacteristic restraint. He hasn't said who he believes, insisting both deserve to be heard.
We should go through a process because there shouldn't even be a little doubt.
Dr. Ford is now a psychology professor in California. This is what she looked like in her high school yearbook in the early 1980s. Around around the time she says a stumbling drunk Kavanaugh pinned her to a bed at a party, groping her and trying to take her clothes off. When she tried to scream, she told the Washington Post, he put his hand over her mouth. I thought he might inadvertently kill me. She says a friend of Kavanaugh's, Mark Judge, was also in the room. But in a statement tonight to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Judge says, I have no memory of this alleged incident. Brett Kavanaugh and I were friends in high school, but I do not recall the party. More to the point, I never saw Brett act in the manner Dr. Ford describes. Judge Kavanaugh emphatically denies the allegations. Democrats say the FBI should investigate the alleged assault. The president could order an updated background check, but today he said the FBI doesn't want to conduct one. I don't think the FBI really should be involved because they don't want to be involved.
A former Auckland local board chairman and justice of the peace has been jailed 4.5 years for exploiting vulnerable children online, including live streaming child sex shows. New Zealand police teamed up with the FBI and Filipino authorities to bring the 75-year-old to justice. A warning, there are elements you may find disturbing in this report.
Martin Laws exploited children hidden behind the anonymity of a computer in his North Shore home. Today he used a friend to hide behind as he took his final steps of freedom into court. Inside, the judge condemned his behaviour.
Children were abused and exploited at your direction and for your gratification.
The multimillionaire and former local politician was clearly uncomfortable. The judge outlining how Laws set up fake email accounts and used video sharing platforms like Skype to access images in live sex shows involving prepubescent Filipino children. Laws messaging them what to do.
It was degrading and dehumanising. You were paying to have the children used as toys.
It would take an international effort to catch him. 3 years ago, 5 people running a child sex ring were arrested in the Philippines. Laws had made payments to 3 of them. The FBI was now on his trail.
We received a referral from the FBI, so it took us some time to work that up and identify Laws, but once we had done that, then we were able to investigate him.
Police here swooped on Laws last year, seizing his computers. He'd spent around $100,000 paying for services from the Philippines. In 2015 alone, he shelled out nearly $23,000 on almost 600 sex shows, most involving young children. He contacted one woman, Donna, 6,000 times.
Donna shared photos and live stream videos of her own children, believed to be aged 3, 4 and 7 years.
Laws told the police when he was arrested that the amounts of money he spent on sex shows was not a big deal because he was a multi-millionaire. He said he was actually helping the children involved because they were living in poverty.
It just shows, doesn't it, that sexual predators against children come from all walks of life. Without demand by men like Laws, there would be no supply of children.
Some of Laws' victims have now been rescued. The judge, though, not convinced the 75-year-old has any real remorse for his crimes.
Yeah, with Wednesday's news, we go for a break now. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Rolly Farova is new to beach volleyball but has excelled and will participate at the 2018 Senior Asian Beach Volleyball Championships next week. He will partner with Mohamea, who won gold for PNG at the 2015 Pacific Games. The championships in Thailand will be Farova's first international stint representing Papua New Guinea.
Rolly Farova has been playing beach volleyball for only 2 years. He has been selected to team up with the experienced Mohamea to compete at the 2018 Senior Asian Beach Volleyball Championships.
I feel good. I'm happy that I'm playing beside him because he's got a lot of experience, and then I'll try my best to help him as well.
Rolly says though training has been tough, he has been working hard and is looking forward to representing PNG for the first time.
Good. The training's been good, but I have to do my own training as well. But then I'm ready for it. It's been like, it's been a wait, but then I'm too young to carry it, but then I have to do it because I'm selected for this, so I train hard for this, so I can do it.
Selections will be made for the Pacific Games train-on squad after the Beach Volleyball National Championships, and with a lot of new talent being showcased at the championships, Rowley says securing a spot in the final team will be difficult.
It's been a good challenge, seeing the young players come in. And then, yeah, I'm a young player as well, but then I will push hard to stay on this position.
More than 20 countries will be participating at the Asian tournament, and though it will be difficult going up against some of the powerhouses of the code, Team PNG will be out to do their best.
It's my first time, but then a bit nervous. But then, yeah, I'll try my best to do better.
The team leaves for Thailand on Saturday before the start of the 4-day tournament on the 25th of September. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Brian Gomez won a silver medal in the badminton men's singles 70-plus age group at the Asia Pacific Masters Games in Malaysia. He got off to a good start, winning the first set 21-15 before conceding the second and third sets 21-19 and 22-20, eventually losing to Malaysia. Gomez is the only representative from Papua New Guinea taking part in the tournament. He defeated players from Australia, Malaysia and Indonesia before entering the finals, where he unfortunately lost and had to settle for silver. Gomez was also able to grab a bronze medal in the doubles after partnering with a Malaysian. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back with more of Trukai Sports after these messages.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To the NRL now, embattled Rabbitoh star Sam Burgess has spoken out about the sexting scandal. The league's integrity unit is investigating allegations the Rabbitoh star sent a woman nude images via social media.
The silence said it all. Sam Burgess facing the cameras but saying nothing as he addressed the nude Facebook chat scandal for the first time since his world turned upside down. The scars of football evident on his face. Nothing compared to the scars at home.
What hurts me the most is seeing my wife upset about what's what's out there, and obviously having to deal with that. I think about. I'm not angry, and like I said, that's why I'm completely happy to go through the process and be as open and honest with everything.
Pregnant wife Phoebe letting the world know she was supporting her husband via this Instagram post last night. A shadow revealing Sam took the photo.
It's been a tough process to go through as a family together, but I'm fortunate that I've got a strong wife. I've got a wife who loves me. I've got a great family. I've got great friends.
Regarding the ongoing NRL investigation, Burgess repeating the same line over and over.
We've been told to publicly make no comment. So I'm going to do that.
But he strongly hinted there was more to the story.
I'm happy for them to get to the truth. I really am. I'm happy for the truth, to be found.
So Sam, when would you like it completed by?
As soon as possible. I think hopefully within 24 hours, 48 hours. I think there should be a resolve.
Rugby League's administration is full of former players looking to give back in some way, but it's fair to say only few deserve to be there as much as Motu Tony, having helped transform one of the UK's powerhouse teams, is now looking to do the same as the high-performance manager behind the Kiwis.
With one run, Stacy Jones set up Motu Tony's dream debut.
And he can also thank the little general for what happened next.
I remember the Mad Butcher saying to me, "You're not Stacy Jones." So I knew that quite early, and I knew I wasn't the most talented player.
Well, I can't remember that, to be fair. Well, I'm a bit embarrassed, to be fair. But I try to tell all the players they got to plan for after football. It's like me when I sold the business.
Remembering the Butcher's advice, he ended his career in the UK and started a bachelor's degree. But just months into study, he returned to his former club Hull as the youngest ever senior sports administrator in the game.
I think I was the only Pacific Islander in sort of senior sports administration. So that's, I know it's flattering for me, but something that I'm keen to sort of change.
The best recruiters make a name taking risks. Tony signed unwanted Rabido Fetuli Talanoa, a rubbish collector from Sydney who carried Hull to Challenge Cup glory, the club's first win at Wembley in 151 years. Last year, the 37-year-old packed up his family of 7 to take a role as interim CEO of Baseball New Zealand before joining NZRL. His first task, getting the Kiwis to restore pride against the Kangaroos next month.
You know, when you have the junior Kiwis, when you have the Kiwi Ferns and the Kiwis all playing on the one day, one venue, it promotes that the Kiwi family feel again, and that's something we haven't had in our sport for a very long time.
The GM reflecting on his greatest moment as a Kiwi and thanking that year's team manager for the advice that brought him here.
The football now, and late winners, hat-tricks, red cards and a few firsts for the season. It's safe to say this year's Championships League is off to a flying start. It was also a night where captains and leaders made their presence felt on Europe's biggest stage.
When it comes to a captain's touch, not many in Europe can rival Barcelona's Lionel Messi.
He's got the ball where he absolutely loves it.
His 8th free kick of 2018 getting Barcelona's campaign underway, an ominous start. Ousmane Dembele then followed his captain's lead in Messi-esque fashion with this turn and finish.
Oh, it's stunning! Absolutely stunning!
Before Messi stole the limelight again with his second just minutes later. Samuel Umtiti became the first red card of the Champions League season, before Captain Fantastic bagged the first hat-trick of this year's competition. The 48th hat-trick of his career and the 14th straight Champions League campaign in which he's scored, a joint record with Real Madrid legend Raul. Inter Milan marked their return to the Champions League with a dramatic win over Tottenham. Captain Mauro Icardi sparking the San Siro to life with this equaliser.
Clip back and hit by rifles in a superb volley.
An injury time winner from midfielder Matthias Vecino, capping off a forgetful night for Spurs captain Harry Kane, who failed to get a single shot on target. And at Anfield, part-time skipper James Milner scored his first Champions League penalty to give Liverpool a 2-0 lead over a star-studded PSG. Thomas Meunier and wonder kid Kylian Mbappe levelled the scores with less than 10 minutes to go. But super sub Roberto Firmino, touted as a potential future captain at the club, slotted home the decisive winner.
Oh, he's won it for Liverpool! Eagle-eye, Robbie Firmino!
The Reds no doubt eyeing up more European success and another run to the final.
And that's it for Trukai Sports. We go for another break. When we come back, with the details for Thursday. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Some showers expected in Papandeta with a top of 30 degrees, 29 degrees, and rain and showers expected in Alatau, Kerama and Port Moresby, a shower or 2 for Daru. To the Momasa region, thundery showers and a top of 29 for Ley City, 27 degrees in Wau and thundery showers as well. Rain and showers for Medang and Wewak, rain and showers as well for Vanimo with a top of 31. To the New Guinea Islands region, thundery showers expected in Lorangau and Kimbe, a shower or 2 and 30 degrees, top temperature for Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka. And in the Highlands region, all the major centres, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabek can expect rain and showers over the next 24 hours with morning fog. Now look at the forecast for small ships, but first there is a strong wind warning. Strong southeasterly winds of 25 to 34 knots with stronger gusts are expected to continue for the next 24 hours, causing rough seas. All small craft and boats are advised to take the necessary precaution before and after going out to sea. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerma, Yule Island to Hood Point and Samurai Island, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Finchafen through Vitias and Dampier Straits to Siasi Island to Long Island, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Eastern and Western Milne Bay Islands, seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Bogle to Finchafen, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Finchafen through Vitias and Dampier Strait to Siasi Island to Long Island, seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Waters of West New Britain, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. And waters of New Ireland to East New Britain to Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. And a look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea, seas rough with southeasterly winds at 25 to 34 knots. Solomon Sea, seas moderate to rough with southeasterly winds at 20 to 34 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas rough with southeasterly winds at 25 to 34 knots. And the Pacific Ocean, seas slight with northeast to southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's the way it is today, Wednesday, the 19th of September 2018. On behalf of the EMTV News team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.